Hey, Chris, I realize this is an oddly specific question, but I've been itching for an answer about this for a while. Your original vision of the interrupt rejoin tech and Squadron back in 2015, blah, 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 blah. All this question, and he says, I would recommend watching the briefing room tomorrow. So we got to watch the briefing room, apparently. So this doesn't even have an answer to it. Let's get to something that has an answer. What is preventing random FPS AI from appearing on planet moon surfaces outside of missions or set locations? Is this plan to make the planetary surfaces feel less empty? This is from Papy. This is from Todd. Todd says, we need some planetary nav mesh work done. We have a fair amount of it completed. Then once that is done, we can start to implement it into missions or random encounters. When that is done, AI will be able to transition from ship to service smoothly. This will also open us for building creatures, space cow, or larger ones like space whale. Or boids, very small creatures, frogs, and birds to add extra life. Good. Okay, good answer. Interesting. Death of a Spaceman. Oh, Death of a Spaceman. Yes. Good job, Orion, for bringing that up. Death of a Spaceman was written way back in February of 2013. Obviously, there have been some changes since then. Landing zones were planned to have an in-engine cutscene versus now players piloting manually, which is way cooler in everyone's opinion. While this is probably currently undergoing a design rework, could you tell us what you know to be different now and what some possible plans are? What's changed? Woo! Later, yeah, it does, J-Dubs. Later this month, there's going to be a Calling All Devs episode on Death of a Spaceman. Color me interested. With myself and Richard Tyre, core gameplay director, which includes the actor teams, where we'll go into the current plans, which you start to see the results of mid next year as we begin to bring in medical gameplay. So watch for that as we'll go into the current design, which is ready for implementation. This is such an important feature. This is such an important feature. I don't know, man. Like, if you think about there's so many, I'm hardcore. Like, my view is like a very hardcore stance. I love the original concept of Death of a Spaceman. Like, you die, your body parts get blown off, you get cybernetic replacements, like you wear and tear time, you age. I love it. I want to feel alive in the game. I want to feel like something bad can happen to me. I want there to be finality. But there's a lot of people who are like, hey, man, you know how easy it is to die in this game? You die in this game and you got to go through all the hoops in order to come back, and you got to get the relative, and you got to like start a new character. Maybe it's just too much for some people. To me, it is not. Because what it makes me feel like is that choices are important. And that's really the roots of it. I want to just feel like, hey, I need to live in this game. Right. It needs to be about risk reward. Now, this is my opinion, right? But man, PvP would be very monitored because people would attach their own lives to it. It wouldn't be helter-skelter. And for people that are industrial players that want a policing action more than just the law system, you would have a life system attached to it, to where people would say, maybe I don't want to engage because I could die and then have to go through all of the hoops. Decisions would be made with the knowledge of that you would have to die and go through this experience. Some of the PvPers just want bing, bang, boom, get back in, blow each other up. I think that's what Theaters of War is for. You went that bam, 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 die, back up, respawn, blah, 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 okay, back. That should be Theaters of War. Persistent universe, where everybody's alive in the verse. If you do something that is PvP oriented and you're dead and you die, you could die. You have to start. Boom. The jobs have more serious. The jobs have the careers become more important. Whatever career you pick becomes more, everything becomes more important, right? If you're a Marine for an organization, if you're a bounty hunter, if you're a pirate, these professions should pay out huge, by the way. If you're very skilled and you know where to go, those professions should pay you huge, which they will naturally. They will automatically pay you very large sums, because you're going to find that not a lot of people are going to want to go into those types of roles, and that the demand for those roles will pay you handsomely. Very, very cool. I cannot wait to see what they say about this. Again, my opinions on that aspect of game design. Just had a good talk with Stutter Fox this morning on Falling Frontier, talking about choices, and it kind of flows right into what we're talking about here. There are currently 95 systems, 324 planets, 74 moons, 50 space stations, and 76 asteroid formations in lore. In game and interact with one, we know another is pretty far along, and there should be 2.3 systems that have at least some progress based on progress we can see from the Squadron trailers. Yes, I recorded it this morning, Shikuku, and that will be out this weekend. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It was a good time. It was a fun time with Todd. We have heard that tools can be developed to speed up the process, and you can look at the lore and see some systems are significantly easier to develop than others. Gurzel is just an asteroid field. Tanga is 3 hot planets and no landing zone, etc. That all said, it's still hundreds of planets, moons, asteroids, and hero zones that you have to go through. Or that you have to go. Even working and pumping out 10 systems a year, it'd take you 9 years. So without commenting on tools, what realistically is your plan here? Are you going to develop a large number of systems in tandem by blocking out the simple ones in mass? Blah, 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 blah. Pappy says, we are not ready to go full bore on all the systems. We are building up the tools, knowledge, and people power to be able to deliver the systems quicker. Can't talk about tools. That is what allows us to build faster and faster as they get refined. That is how we have adjusted building a moon. Yeah, like that's, this is funny. The guy says, tell me about it without talking about the tools. This guy doesn't know about game development, honestly, because you need these tools. The reason why these systems are going to be developed faster are because of these tools, Ash. Come on, dude. like can't talk about tools, ? Says Todd. He's like, wait a second, why can't I talk about the tools? The tools are what's going to pump out this stuff faster for you, Ash. Sorry, Ash, but that's just part of it, man. A lot of time and work goes into building up the asset packs. Once we have the assets built, we can put locations. I'd imagine that this is going to be the least of their problems. Really, I don't think we're gonna have any problems here. I really think that it'll be like a production. It'll be like a manufacturing plant. It'll be like Ford factory lines. I really do. SQ-42 is currently 6 years behind its initial target. Then he quotes them: as we, the developer, intended to treat you with the same respect we would give a publisher, we will receive regular updates. So he's upset. He's upset about Squadron 42s. And Chris says tomorrow we'll be launching the inaugural episode of the briefing room. So the briefing room is a way in which to quell all the people who are very upset, and rightly so, about the lateness of Squadron 42. He's saying we're going to pay more attention to you guys. We're bringing out the briefing room. We do give regular updates on Squadron 42. The new roadmap will also give you guys new updates. A moon took a year, 3 years ago. Now it's 2 weeks, says Killian's, as far as the tools required to give us these systems, what we were just talking about. So yeah, we're going to see more from Squadron 42, I guarantee it, because Chris already sees a huge amount of frustration from the audience, and that's why I think briefing room's out. He thinks that the crux of the issue is impossible to please all the people all the time. So he's trying to give out his generalized conception of why it's taking so long. He says, yes, I do feel like we have been meeting the pledge. Does that mean we can't improve? No, we can always improve. So they need to. And I think this is a step in the right direction. They weren't. I mean, they were not making people feel good about Squadron 42 because it was too far and too far from update to update. Now we do. The roadmap was never good enough. Let's hope the new roadmap is. Let's hope the new roadmap in combination with the briefing will be enough for people. You know, that's what I'm getting at with that. J-Dub says it was a good overall answer. I just want to kind of skip past that because I honestly, the whole time issue, you know, like, yes, it's been taking a long time, but like I see a lot of people upset about the amount of time that it's taking, and okay, all right. But like we have been let into this process, and it's been very transparent in my mind. The whole process, we are able to look under the hood in game development like we've never been able to see before. A lot of us who never knew anything about game development. Thank you so much, Calvin. Thank you. Oh, kids are back. Hold on. I think I got my pumpkin chai, yo. My daughter turned me on to like flavored chai coffee. Hey, honey. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Did you get that pumpkin chai, yo? Can't believe I even like it. Oh, why? Oh, yes. Because he came from Rona High. It's down here. The plastic bag is... Yes, can you bring down the chai? Can't believe I'm drinking pumpkin, but my daughter turned me on to this. All right, she's bringing it to me. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. There should be like a plastic zipper bag where Devin can put his Rona-fied clothes in over there now that he's back from Rona High. Is it over there? Is it down at the bottom of the steps? I think it's down at the bottom of the steps. It's a big plastic zippery bag. Put those back here. Those clothes back here. And there's like... Yeah. That's kind of like the overall Rona spot. All right, great. Thank you, sweetie. We have procedures here. All right. First off, hold on a second. She says to take 2 sips, and she's right. The first sip surprises. The second sip, delicious. Did you spray it on the cover? Oh my God. I'm gonna die, Fox. I'm gonna die. Oh man. What's up, Cal? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing good. All right. I am already 20 minutes late to this podcast with these fine young gentlemen here. So I will try and rush through this, which it looks like there's considerable amount more. So maybe we should pick this up on a part 2. But overall, maybe I should just put this link down there too. Young of heart, Killian. Young of heart. I think it was phrased in this way: when questions aren't allowed, but the root concern is very clear, as it is also laid out the sentences leading up to questions at the very end of the comment. This question has been echoed throughout the community for months. In my opinion, firstly, addressed is the question that stands behind those concerns. That would have been an easy way to finally get rid of these rumors. They stopped updating. Wait. What are we talking? The question was given massive uncertainty on the progress of Squadron 42 within the community. Do you feel as though you have been meeting this objective? Okay, so again, we're talking about time. Yeah. So, you know, like this is going to be a constant theme. Time. When. Are we there yet? You know what? Every time I hear this, as a father, I can relate to the frustration that Chris and Cloud Imperium and the employees must feel. Hey, Donnie. Speaking of Cloud Imperium, how you doing, Donnie? Welcome to the stream, man. And that is, as a father driving to a vacation, when your children are continually like, are we there yet? And then eventually you have like this, like, we are not there yet. You know, like that's kind of like every time I see a question about time, it is relevant. It is important. But like that is like back burner type thing to me. And I just believe in the people that are working there. I believe that this is real work by real people, and it's getting done. Is it getting done effectively and efficiently? That's a whole nother question, and a more important question than when, where. You know, And that we talk about on the channel all the time. All the time. All right, next question. Last year at CitizenCon, we saw NPC moving between physics grids and walking out of the Valkyrie. What is the current status of this? NPCs moving in and out of trains. He's frustrated about NPCs. Todd Papy says we currently have a few bugs that we need to work out that will allow AI to path between ships, planetary surfaces, and man-made locations. And that's a very general answer by Todd. I think also what needs to be added into that is the fact that a lot of these issues are also server related issues, especially with AI. We talked about that 2 weeks ago when we watched one of our members battling it out with NPCs, and we talked about AI very detailed and the issues that are going on. Oh, look, one of our own members. What's going on, Kara, man? I think that's Max Power from our community. Has there been any progress on plans for data running and hacking? With the Mercury coming out and Herald being all forgotten, it seems like at least a baseline commodity transport version of data running would be relatively easy and would add some new options. It hasn't been forgotten. Personally, it is one of the professions I'm looking forward to the most. Awesome. We just have some higher priority work that needs to be completed first. We are focused on delivering big physical cargo first. That's refreshing. I like to see that's not something that they've forgotten about. So what's the deal with Theaters of War? Currently being worked on and tested. Ideally, Sean and Rich will give an update to everyone once it is ready for everyone to play. And we talked about why I think Theaters of War is important. I think Theaters of War is something that should be hardcore PvPers that treats Death of a Spaceman differently than the Persistent Universe. So people that want PvP 24/7, die, respawn, die, respawn, die, respawn, die, respawn, this should be Theaters of War, right? You get that BF feel, you know? And then over in the Persistent Universe, death becomes much more important. Again, my opinion, but that's I think Theaters of War separates that type of PvP into two realms, where PvP becomes a hell of a lot more important and your choices become a lot more important in the Persistent Universe than in Theaters of War. So when people ask me, do I like Theaters of War? Do I think Theaters of War is important? In terms of like keeping the initial concept of Death of a Spaceman, yes. Yes. My opinion again. All right. What is the plan for computers in the blades? Currently, we only know about using blades for turret automating and slaving. Do you have any other ideas currently for what blades can be used for? Whoo, apparently they do. Hold on, let me just take a sip here. Apparently they do, Kara. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. That makes me excited. That makes me excited right there. Pyro, Todd Papy says, yes. I love it. What milestones left to create dynamic missions? One of the this is from Tony. I like this. One of the larger remaining issues relates to the fact that the current mission's UI and associated logic aren't able to deal with real-time parameters and need to be converted from Flash to building blocks, and why they have spent so much time on it. And I said that. We all did. In fact, it was our community that made me aware of the fact that why building blocks is so much a focus right now. This is also related to why more service beacons haven't been introduced. As UI development with the old system is far slower than with the new tech. Quantum is starting to inject some of its simulation data into the back-end services, which the dynamic mission service requires to make these customized missions available. But the first stages involve only a few distant type of scenarios. Dynamic events, on the other hand, are routed through the same system and are a bit more mature. And the first demonstration of their tech was last spring's Fleet Week, which was activated for a small, brief period of time. And one of the reasons they did it was a test bed, and which existed across all servers. We're already in the process of constructing more of these dynamic scenarios, some of which are far more sophisticated. I would also probably tell you that a lot of the in-game events that you're going to see are going to seed in a lot these instances where they're testing things out. So very cool answer. How do you envision NPC crew gameplay? I think we know what to expect from it. So he's talking as a solo explorer with his ship. He's given like examples. Todd Papy and Dan Truffin and Tony Zurovec have briefly touched on the subject. Like on medium ships, he's wondering on a Polaris or a Nautilus with a mid-sized crew, we may only have 2 regular friends we play with. But, you know, this is the thing when people put these scenarios out there, the point is, and this is Jeroen, who I happen to like Jeroen and plug to Jeroen. He's got like this show called The Yacht Club that I like where they talk about ships and designs. So I really respect a lot of the things Jeroen's up to lately. But he's talking about NPC crew as well. And we talked about NPC crew and how important it will play a role. And so good question. He wants to know how it fits in. Todd Papy says first steps are building out the player functionality to those roles. Similar to pilots and to turret gunners, we currently have some of those AI functions like flying the ship, but we would still need to build the glue for the AI, like what they do off duty. Yeah, like that's going to be something way down the road, like their off time. What we worry about right now is their on time. Like we want to know what they're doing in our ship. We're going to be hiring them. They're going to have different types of level of ability, right? Some of them are going to be better than other. Donnie says, Todd's a really good guy. He pays very close attention and has a crazy workload all the time, but that dude is very on point. Yeah, I like Todd. I like Todd, Tony, and Chris. I mean, like the 3, they seem to be like the 3 top dudes. And I also like Brian Chambers, John Crew. These are guys that I feel like are very dedicated to the project. Every time I see them on there, they're super knowledgeable. They're always on point with the information, Donnie. And I really respect the time that they spend with us. Yeah, and Brian Chambers is one of my favorites as well. So, okay, let's see here. The captain owner of the ship will need a way to set what roles he wants the NPCs to do. The captain will also need a way to interface with the AI to tell them what they want them to do, like fly to a section or attack a certain target. We are still planning to allow players to take remote control of the NPCs. John Crew does seem like he always wants to strangle somebody, and Tony is a genius. Absolutely. All right, guys, I think we just end it there. I've already 30 minutes late to my podcast with 3 VIP members, and that podcast should be out within the next week or so. We're going to talk about everything we talked about here, but in much more detail with the members of our podcast, and that podcast will be released to you. Do not forget, coming up this weekend, we will also have the interview with Todd Darcy of Stutterfox Studios and Final Frontier, a title that we're really looking forward to here on the channel that is an RTS that looks fantastic. So we will have the inside scoop of what's going on with Falling Frontier next weekend. Stay tuned for that. And thank you, everybody. Don't worry, more Star Citizen to catch up on our next stream. We talked about the Star Citizen 1 community on this video. We talked about the letter from the chairman on this video. And we talked about the Star Citizen answers from the members that are the top tier members from the AMA stream. You guys were amazing. Thanks for all the support on the stream. And now it's time to get into my podcast with my fellow VIP members. We're going to party it up. And that podcast will be released on the channel. Thanks everybody for watching today. More streams on the way. Remember, my daughter is home this week. So it might be a little bit, it depends upon what's happening here, but I'll try and put as much content as I can on the channel. Absolutely love you, fam. See you on the next vid or stream. Have a good one, guys.